This is Flex Grow. It's different. It's got the different the divisions, and then one of them is bigger than the others. And if you change the numbers, it changes basically the proportion. The others are at 1. So if I put 2, it's double. I put in 3, it's triple. It doesn't change when I change. It doesn't do anything when I change the page.
Right. The width or the
width. Yeah, it doesn't. So it's not like the other one where when you change this, it changes.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what we got. That's what it does. So like if you have like a header or a footer and you need one of the blocks to be bigger, and you put in a bigger proportion.
Yeah. I just put a screenshot into Slack for FlexGrow. So if a Flex container is too big for all of the Flex bases, the proportion of a particular Flex item, or you assign a proportion, just like you said, Karen. So if the Flex container is too big or too small, and you have items of different sizes inside that Flex container, you can use FlexGrow to let CSS know like the proportion. I still want this larger piece of content to be larger than the others, but maybe at a smaller rate or something. So if you consider as you make your sites responsive, so you want something to look good on a desktop and something to look good on mobile, maybe you have an image or something that you want to get smaller, but you still want it to be larger than the other things around it. FlexGrow may be a way to approach that as more of a proportional type of property. Cool. We'll get some more practice with that during lab. So thanks for sharing that. Flex Wrap. Matt and Sophia, how did you guys do?
We did pretty good. I can share my screen and show some examples we worked on.
Cool.
So basically the way Flex Wrap works is it's kind of like writing on a piece of paper. It flows from left to right, and you can change that order depending on what you need. So right here we have the Flex Wrap No Wrap, which is just the basic layout if you don't want it to wrap. And then here we can do the actual wrap layout, which it pushes the remaining 2 down here.
Nice.
And then Flex Wrap Reverse does the same thing, but opposite.
Cool. Yeah, so again, if you have content that is going to be larger than that Flex container, you can wrap items underneath and such. Kind of like, an Airbnb or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, and then these were the last 2 properties that we found on W3 School. There's Flex Wrap Initial and Flex Wrap Inherit, but they're pretty straightforward to the styling on the page.
Right. Cool. Did you guys have a chance to take a stab at Flex Basis?
We had just started to look at it when you called us back.
Yeah, no worries. Cool. So that's Flex Wrap. Great work, guys. And last but not least, Audrey and Michael, how did you guys do with order?
Well, we looked at the two of them together. We had a bit of difficulty understanding, but I was looking at it a lot just now, and I think I have enough that I think I can give us something of an explanation and be right.
Yeah, just take a stab. No worries.
So I'm just going to use what they have because I think they did it better than I would have if I tried to do it. But it also helped me understand it, which is why I wanted to use theirs. So Flex Order pretty much says that when you put something in a certain order, it's going to come out that order, but Flex Order allows you to rearrange that order. Well, I'm sorry, I said that wrong, but same idea. You put something in order, normally it will come out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Flex Order allows you to change that order. So in essence, if you have an HTML that says Flex item is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can change that order to 3, 4, 5 to whatever order you want it to be using Flex Order. and then that would give you the result of what you want it to look like. And, you know, however, it would always read the way that you want it to read. Now, flex spaces, haha, I think I got it. Set a size for your item, and it can change. And so this is this size is set, and this size is, if I'm getting this correctly, is set. So you have your two items, flex 1 and flex 2, and then you set a parameter. You set a size for them. So this is also based. This can be based on the content, or you can and say whatever I set for everything else before, or you can set a set size for it. So that doesn't make sense when I say it, but when you watch it, it makes more sense, because then it's like, okay, it can get as big as I need it to, because flex grow allows it to grow as big as I need it to. But if I needed to make it really, really small, that one's not getting any smaller because that's the set size that I put it to.
Right.
So the idea is that it's allowing you to, no matter what's inside of your flex item, set the size to a size that you want it to remain at, regardless of the content.
Yeah, that's really handy. Yeah, that's really handy. Again, if you think about, you know, you have some content on a desktop that looks great, and you want to maintain that integrity. If you see it on a smaller device, you know, maybe like a particular piece of content, you don't want it, you know, to get all janky. You want it to maintain this integrity. So that would be a really handy one. Mike has a question. What's the difference between flex flow and flex wrap? Mike, do you mean flex grow and flex wrap? Flex flow? Let's take a look at that.
Oh, that's what it was named, but maybe that's not a real thing. I'm not sure.
Did we went over
examples of basis. I found that.
we went over flex direction and flex grow.
It seems like flex flow combines direction and wrap.
Okay.
It wasn't on your thing. It was on a thing. I think if they said it, they were like, it depends on which way. It's kind of like your right direction and grow. So which way that it flows, if it runs over and it needs to go somewhere else.
Okay. Let me take a look at that one. That's probably one of the more intermediate ones. Let me take a look at that. We can talk about that a little bit later. So how are you guys feeling about Flexbox so far? Is it kind of blowing your noggins? Okay, cool. Let's do this before we get into like super duper lab time. Have you guys heard of Flexbox Froggy? Has anyone heard of this? Okay, this is a really fun, really well done tutorial. Usually we do this like for homework, but I think this would be really appropriate. We'll take a few minutes to run through this now. Let me Slack out the link. So this is Flexbox Froggy. It's very interactive. It's kind of a game, but it's really well done. I think the folks at Code School actually built this. I need to confirm that. But let's do this. Let me put you guys back into breakouts, because again, we can talk about this all day, but unless you actually do it and play with it, it's not really going to sink in. So let's take maybe 25, 30 minutes. I'm going to put you guys into breakouts and play around with this, and then we'll come back. We'll talk about the Holy Grail layout briefly, and then we'll get into like the official lab time. But I think this will be a really helpful experience here. So Flexbox Froggy, any questions about that? Cool. If you don't mind, again, just give me a thumbs up in Slack if you do get to the end of it, before 25 or 30 minutes. I'll check in with you guys. All right, let me open up the rooms and Godspeed.